Judges 7, serious story. I like to call it the war story of the Bible, where there was two armies. One was massive and one was tiny. And I'm breaking it down. God says, before I can deliver the Midianite army into your hands, Gideon, I need you to go down and let your army know. Listen, man, whosoever is afraid and timid, tell them to go home. I'm breaking it down that God does not force us to fight for Jesus. God does not compel us. The Lord gives us the opportunity. He says to us, I set before you life and death. The Lord will never drag you to battle. So God says, Gideon, man, go and tell the army, whosoever is afraid, just go home. But then there's hope, so it seems. There was 10,000, the Bible specifically said, that was willing to fight. The Bible tells us that the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. And this is how we know biblically that Jesus, when he speaks, is no game. He's trying to teach us, not because he's trying to keep us under lock and key, but what Jesus says is good for our life and daily living. So Jesus is saying that willingness does not constitute readiness, because the Bible says that the spirit might be willing, but the bad news is the flesh is weak. Jesus says, disciples, I need you to pray for me. I'm going through some mess. But the disciples, they were willing to go to the battle of prayer, but they weren't interested in staying up, because there was a fight going on out of the flesh versus the spirit. And I'm breaking it down. We need to be strong in the spirit and weak in the flesh. The Bible says we must die daily. We must crucify self, crucify the flesh, and walk in the spirit. So God says to Gideon, wake up, Gideon. I'm letting you know before you go to fight that the battle is already yours. The victory is already yours. But Gideon, because I love you, even if you're still scared, go down to the Midianite camp and just listen in at what they're saying. And the Bible says there was a man that had a dream, and the dream goes like this. There was a barley loaf that was rolling down the hill, and it got to the bottom of the hill, and then it knocked down the tent flat on his face. And then a man says, oh no, all this could mean is one thing. God has surely given the victory to the Israelites. And I'm breaking it down that this blows my mind. As soon as Gideon found out this information, he goes back to the camp and he bows down and he worships God. I'm breaking it down that true worship comes after victory. I'm trying to let you know that God did not just tell them that the victory is theirs. He did not just tell them through their friends or their family. It was the enemy that told the Israelites that they were going to win. I'm breaking it down one more time. That true worship only comes after victory in Jesus. Even though we have seen now, God has told the Israelites, the victory is yours. We have seen evidently, biblically, that God never loses. But I'm breaking it down that the devil, because he gets beaten up by God all the time, the devil, he always steals the battle plans of God. So imagine now we're in the last days and we are at the final battle. The devil is getting ready to lose, but the enemy is telling the demons, guess what, demons? I have a way that I can beat the church down. I have a way to rip them apart. I have a way to separate them, because I remember in Gideon's army years ago, I was using the Midianites to fight them, but God, he did not even tell them to fight. In that fight, do you know that God did not tell the Israelites to fight with the sword? The Bible tells us that the Spirit came into the Midianite camp, and then the Midianites were fighting with each other. The devil is using us to fight against us. He's not causing himself to beat us up. He's saying, don't worry, demons, let them fight themselves. We are beefing each other. There's preachers who hate each other. There's pastors that don't speak to each other. There's singers that are in competition. I'm breaking it down that there are people that have left the church. Guess why? Because of the church. The devil is using us to fight each other. This is what we call friendly fire, where the Israelites fight the Israelites, and I'm breaking it down. I'm calling a rise up. I'm calling a revival of love and peace and unity. We need to stand up and fight against the devil, not with mere doctrine, not with information, but with the love of Jesus. Animal. There was one time though where it got injured on the TV, and I was like, man, the animal's limping. And I saw the park ranger, and I said, hey man, park ranger, slow down, the lion will eat you. But it seemed like the park ranger knew what it was doing. The park ranger took out a gun, and I said, don't kill the lion.